Looks like we are live. If you happen to be here, please let me know in the chat. Unfortunately, I only have one monitor at the moment, so I have to do everything on one screen. Trying to find that pop-out chat. I think there was a feature here where you can pop out the chat window in OBS. Docs. I can't find it here. Okay, we're just gonna do it via the YouTube. Okay, doesn't seem anyone is here. I'm a little bit early. No, I'm not. It's actually, yeah, it was 1 p.m. So anyway, if you are here, please let me know. Make this a little bit smaller. Oh, there you go. Yeah, in order to participate in the chat, you actually have to be a subscriber to the channel. I changed that because in the past, especially on the live streams, I had a lot of people showing up in the chat and just writing stupid stuff. So I changed it to subscriber only in the chat mode. So make sure that when you hear that you're subscribed to the channel, otherwise you won't be able to participate in the chat. And hey Foss, can you let me know, can you hear me? Is it loud enough, or do I need to turn the mic up a little bit? Or hi Joe T. I know there's a delay, so I'll wait a little bit. Just need to know that my mic is working. Let me check here. It looks good here, so audio is good. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Well, first of all, welcome back, all two of you. Foss already knows it, but just for everyone to know, I was in Germany and Europe for a few months actually. I just came back at the end of August, and I also moved right before I left to Germany. I had to move out of my apartment because the landlord decided to raise the rent $750, which is ridiculous. So between me moving by the end of January and me leaving by the end of April, there was really not much time to get accomplished, get settled in, and start streaming again. So I decided to wait until I come back from Germany, which I did the end of August, and also had some stuff to do first because obviously I was there for 4 months, so I had to catch up with a few things. So I'm finally back online on YouTube, and I'm doing good. You're German, Joe T? Or do I know you from Germany? Sorry, I'm confused. I saw German in the chat. I'm like, what? I'm doing good. But do I know you? Just curious. Just gonna wait for that response here. In the meantime, do me a favor, read the risk disclaimer. I have to put that on because obviously I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm just a regular Joe trying to trade the markets, and this is my journey basically, this channel. That's what this channel is about. Well, Joe T, let me know if I know you, or if you just picked up on German, or if you are German. I'm just curious. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, did we talk earlier? Were you the one that were asking the question in Malaysia? I hate this delay. There's like a 10-second delay between me saying something and you actually hearing it. In the meantime, well, anyway, like I said, I'm back online now. I'm trying to do this Sunday live Q&A every week. Okay, cool. Thank you, Chilti. Just curious. I was like, "Huh, is this somebody I know?" Yeah. Anyway, so I'm trying to do this regular thing now on Sundays around this time. I think that's a good time because I know I have people from the UK here too. So in the UK, I think it's evening now. I think I'm confused. Sorry, I just took a nap. Anyway, I'm gonna make this a regular thing every Sunday. Just go over the updates over the week, and I'm also gonna start streaming live sessions again every day. A London session for sure, because that I can do every day. New York session I'm trying to, as I said on the channel, it depends on if I have enough energy to be up that long. Yeah, that's what I thought. Evening in the UK, so that's a perfect time. 1 p.m. EST to go live on Sunday. I think that's not too late in the UK and it's not too early here in the United States. So that's a good time. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna start live trading again. Live London session for sure, which is I start trading at 2 a.m. until 5 a.m. And then the New York session is not quite sure because I rarely do it. Hold on a second. This is a template, by the way. If you have that same template, I posted that earlier in the Telegram channel. So this is London session. So this is 2 a.m. So 6. And is 11, so 3 hours, so 2, no wait, so 11 minus 3, 8, okay, so London session would be 2 to 5 a.m. EST, and then New York session would be 8 until 11. Yeah, 8 till 11. In case, hold on, I gotta check my chat. Nah, gotta have my chat up here. There you go, that works. Sorry, I only have one monitor here, so I have to split the screen a little bit. Okay, so London session, the way I trade now is starting at 2 a.m. so that's pre-London basically, and goes until 5 a.m. and then again 8 a.m. until 11. First of all, if you do have the template that I put in the chat earlier, I need to do a few corrections because I had a few settings wrong. If you have the template, do me a favor, just fire it up real quick and I'll show you the changes that I made so we're all on the same page here. I'll give you a minute to open up your MT4, and then there's only a couple of changes that I made that I forgot to set back. I was testing, I was playing around with it and I forgot to set it back before I uploaded it. So I'll give you a minute to open up your MT4 and the template if you have it, and then we're gonna change a few settings on the indicators. Just a couple of things. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is see. We don't need average price. I don't know why that's in there. You're gonna see a few things that are not in your template, but you don't need those things. I just deleted them before I uploaded the template. Like for example, the symbol changer. That's just a pair changer where you can quickly change between different pairs. We're only gonna trade one pair anyway, so I removed that before I uploaded it. You don't have the bar alert. We don't. No, I think no. You do have that. Okay, so let's go in here. Fractals. The first one. Make sure this is set to 15 minutes. I think on the one that I uploaded it was set to 1 hour. That was the first fractals indicator here. This needs to be 15 minutes. So that's the first change. Then this indicator here, the next one, TMA, CG, MTF indicator, that is set, I think, to 2.0 on the version that you have. You need to set that back to 1.618. That was set to 2 by accident when I uploaded it. So this is the default setting, 1.618. So just change that back. Again, this is the TMA, CG, MTF indicator. Next one right away. And then in the sessions, if you go down, make sure you have the same settings here on those two. And the last one, I think that is different on yours as well. So London mod needs to be -1, -4. New York mod needs to be 2 and -5, and I explain that later. That's not actually the New York session, but I think that is the same actually on your version. And then the last one, Tokyo mod needs to be 0, -2. I think that's different on yours as well. So those two, I think you have a different setting. So change those back to these settings. And I will upload the template alone again in the chat, just to make sure that we're all on the same page. I'll do that before tonight's session. But while you're here, might as well do it real quick. And I think that's it. Fairway gaps. Also, fractals, I didn't upload that indicator because that's a standard indicator in MT4, so make sure you have that in there. It should show up with the template that I gave you, but just make sure, if not, go to the indicator section. Oh, I can do that right now. Yeah, there you go. Indicator section, and then here under Bill Williams, you should have fractals and just default settings, and drag that on the chart. It's right here. So Bill Williams and then fractals. That comes with MT4, so that's why I didn't upload it. Anyway, so that's that. Everything else should be the same. Okay, so let's go over the template real quick. So this is based on ICT's Judo swing strategy. However, I mixed it up with my own template, and you're somewhat familiar with that. We only trade the S&P 500. In this case, it's on this broker, it's called US 500. Some brokers have it SPX 500, US 500, or S&P, whatever your broker has for this. You find it under indices. So that's the only pair we trade with that. Now you can do you can trade that same strategy with the Euro USD and GBP USD, from what I've learned. Just to be fully transparent, I have not traded that system yet either. So this is all brand new for me as well. This is actually a demo account. You can see this here, demo account. That's a demo account that I just opened up with $500 US. So I'm gonna trade that on demo for the next week or two. But I'm gonna live trade it with you guys if you're interested. And then if everything goes well and I like it, then I will continue to trade it on a live account, which will also coincide with a new series on the channel, because I'm gonna start with a $100 account and build that up. It's gonna be a small account challenge, starting out with $100, trading the system and the system only. And my goal is, or my plan going forward is, once I move to the live account with $100, I want to trade that up to 200. So basically double that account. Once I have doubled that account, I'm going to take $40 out of it and do a 5K challenge with the 5%ers. And then I'm going to trade my account and the challenge account with the same strategy, try to pass it. And as I make profits on the small account and withdraw money from the funded account, if that works out, I'm gonna use that money to put it back into it and buy higher challenges or other challenges from other prop firms. And then from the payouts that I will hopefully get from the prop firms, I do 50% into new challenges and 50% into that $100 account, or that account I started with $100 at that point, so that I can grow my own account at the same time. So that's gonna be that's why I said it's gonna be a weekly thing with a Sunday live Q&A, and we're gonna do live sessions every day. First on the demo account. Again, for me, that strategy is new as well, but I back tested it on TradingView, so it looks very promising. And then also, if everything works out a week or two into it, depending on how I feel about it, we're gonna switch over, or I'm gonna switch over to a $100 funded account, not funded, sorry, a $100 live account, real money account, and then continue trading that on the small account, basically to build it up to 200, and then use the profits to basically finance the challenges, and then hopefully pass challenges. And then as I get payouts from the challenges or from the funded accounts, I'm gonna use that money 50-50 towards new challenges and putting it into that small account to build that account up. So it's gonna be a complete challenge from zero to wherever it goes, hopefully. So yeah, the way it works, just to give you an idea, again, my theory is based on the TMA bands. You can see that here. Price usually, let me zoom out a little bit so you can see that better. Price always bounces between the upper and the lower band, as you can see when I go back a little bit, more or less. I know they repaint, I'm aware of that, but overall, like I said, we have movement of price between those bands. So this is my strategy, or what my strategy is based on, and I'm combining this strategy with the Tudor swing. I'm not going to go into details about the Tudor swing. There's, I think, 1,000 different videos on YouTube that you can watch about the Tudor swing, and every single one of them says something different. It's kind of funny because, you know, that's all based on ICT. ICT made a video about it, and everybody has its own interpretation of that. I back tested it just based on liquidity sweeps at certain times of the day, and then taking it basically from one side of the band to the other one. So that's basically my TMA understanding mixed with ICT concept. There's no daily bias, we just go with the flow as it is. And so I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by this. We have the Asian box, which is blue. That's the Asian session until 2 a.m. And at 2 a.m. we are at the charts, and then we wait until we get a sweep either below or above the Asian high or lows, which that box pretty much gives you here. This is the high, this is the low. In this case, we're sweeping the lows of the Asian session right here. And now we wait on the touch of the band. This is where my strategy comes in, which we get around here, or at least close to the band. It doesn't have to be a touch, because again, those repaint. But if we're relatively close to the band, that's fine. And then we wait for a, let me zoom in a little bit. Actually, a little bit more. There we go. So here is the sweep. We come down here, and then we wait for a support that can be white dots or blue dots. Either one is valid. In this case, it's the blue ones. The blue ones are 1 hour dots. The white ones are 15-minute dots. It's the fractal support. So we have to wait for that. That actually might have come in here already, because they actually repaint. And then we need to wait for this green arrow here. That's the next thing. If we don't have it yet, in this case we do have the yellow arrow as well. If not, we have to wait for this one as well. And then when we get those two arrows and the support, which we have on this candle, we need to look down. And those two bottom ones need to be at least white, which in this case the bottom one is actually white and the top one is already green. But at that point it probably was white, because that adjusts later on. And then also we need to confirm with the Renko street trend here. That needs to be green as well. And if they agree, that's our filter. And we have those two arrows and we're close to the bottom. We swept it here. Then we take the first trade on the close of this candle. And we're going for a 1, 2, 3. So in this case, the entry would be right here on this candle. The stop loss goes right underneath the low, which in this case happens to be the same candle. And then we go for a 1, 2, 3, and we take two positions. We take 2 0.5% risk positions. And we set it to 1, 2, 3 risk reward, both of them. However, once we place the trade, we remove the profit target from one of the two trades, basically. And then we let the trade go. Once we hit 1, 2, 3, half of the trade is closed at 1, 2, 3 risk reward. In that moment, we set the second half to break even. So in this case, we hit 1, 2, 3 with one half of the trade, and then it comes back, stops us out at break even, which is fine. It's still gonna go to the other side. Again, we believe in the theory that price will travel to the other side of the band. So we get stopped out here. We see that we had a red arrow here. So now we need to wait for a new green arrow, which we get here. Last yellow arrow was down, so we need to wait for this one as well, which we get here. And to be fair, it probably came in on this candle here. And since we had white support dots, which is 15 minutes, those need to be present as well, which they are. So on this candle, we have, if you look down, green, green, and green. So that's just confirmed as filter. So we open a new trade on the close of this candle. And again, stop loss right underneath the dots, in this case. The higher ones here. And we enter new trade. And again, 1, 2, 3 for one half. And no profit target for the second one. So for the second one, you have to remove the profit target once the trade is open, which this tool does automatically, and I'll show you that on live sessions. And we go again. So trade plays around for a little bit, and then starts moving up. We hit profit target on the first half. Now we set our stop loss to break even. And then we hit the other side of the band here. And that's when we close the second half. That's it. That's your trading session right there. So in this case, we had 2 0.5% trades with 1, 2, 3. So that would be a full percent risk, so full 3% profit on those two half trades. And then on this one, what? Also, okay, 299. And when it hits here, that's when we keep the profit target at the band, basically. So when it hits here, that's another 1 to 6 risk reward. So that would be 0.5%. That would be another 3%. So on this day, we actually would have made 6% profit in a long session, just in one day. And again, you gotta go by percentages. I know on a $500 account, it's gonna look ridiculous. 6%, what is that, like $30? So you're gonna see a profit of $30 at the end of London session, and like, oh great, $30. But percentages, that's what it's all about. I hope you can understand that. So if you have a $100,000 account, you make 6%, that's $6,000 in one night, or over halfway of your challenge right there in one night. And then that would be the end of the London session for me. And then if I come back to the New York session, I wait until 8. And we're doing the same thing again. We have the London session box right here. At 8 a.m. price comes out on the top here. So you can follow this bottom indicator. And we're not doing anything until this turns white. So it starts turning white here. So we wait. And then we get the yellow arrow here. We get the support dots that probably started out here already and moved up and moved up and moved up and moved up. We finally get a yellow arrow, and then we have to wait for the red arrow, which comes in here. So now we have both arrows, and we look down. Renko Street trend confirms it. We're red here as well, and we're definitely white and white here. Probably this one was red already, but we're definitely white and white at this time on those two bottom indicators. And that's our entry right there, this candle. That's where everything is in place. So we would enter on this candle here. Stop loss again above the dots right here. And then we're shooting for a 1, 2, 3 profit, which in this case is hit within 6-7 minutes. That's great. So, and that's only 1/2. We set 2 orders with a 0.5% risk. So one trade gets closed here. On the second trade, we remove the take profit. And as soon as the first half gets hit take profit, we're gonna set the stop loss to break even again. And in this case, it doesn't come back. And then it starts moving down. And we are also above the band, which is very nice. Comes back a little bit, but doesn't stop us out. This would be the ICT entry, by the way. This would be a fair value gap here. So if you missed that entry, you could take this here as a second entry. I explained it in the live sessions. Anyway, then price starts moving down, and bam, we hit the band here. Now you're gonna say, whoa, this is a lot to leave on the table. But if you look at the risk that we had, and if we look at where this happened, that would be a 1 to almost 20 risk reward trade on the second half. So let's say 1 to 20 to 19.88, but let's say 1 to 20 on 0.5%, that's 10% on the second half. So we have 1.5% on the first half, and then we have almost 10% on the second half. I think you can agree that that's more than enough for a day. So if you basically just on that one day traded London session and the New York session, you would have made enough to pass a challenge just in one day. And that's basically the strategy. So again, it's based on the Tudor swing, or loosely based on the ICT Tudor swing. I'm gonna say loosely because I don't want to be crucified by ICT fans. I love his concepts. I cannot stand his videos because he's talking too much about other things that are unrelated to the actual content. But like I said, what he teaches, I think, is so far as I have seen valid. Sorry, my game. But I'm using my own entry model basically, because there's too many times where you're like, is this a fair value gap that I can use? Or I have to wait for a break of structure. Then sometimes it doesn't come back and tags you in. So you sit here for an hour or two and then you don't get a trade out of it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to combine this with my own strategy and use my entry model, which usually gives me around the same or better entry, and also shows me how long I can stay in the trade. So let's say, let me explain what I mean with this. Let's say here in the London session, we get the first trade and we get stopped out on the second half here, and then we get a re-entry here on this candle. Sorry, on this candle here. Once you're in a trade, as long as those two stay green, you don't have to do anything. So those two indicators basically tell you, hey, you're good. So if you go into a trade and then you get into a situation like this, as long as these stay white or green, which I think they started turning green around here, that's when it started to take off. As long as they stay green, you stay in the trade, you have nothing to worry about. So and then it goes up here and it plays around again. But again, you see this here. First, we're not on the band yet here, which is our profit target. And then also you can see that those stay green. You're good to go. So you don't have to worry about these zigzags or should I close the trade, or this tells you exactly when to get out basically. And you can follow this along if you want to. In this case, this would have been the first point of weakness, that's what I call it, and then you get the red arrow here. So then you would have closed the trade here. But you see where I'm going from with this. We just go to the other side of the band, bomb, that's it, profit target hit, which in this case would be better than the actual exit signal. And that's it. We take our profit there and call it a day, or a session in this case, because we had a half trade and a full trade already, which in this case would have been 3% and that would have been 6%, and then in the New York session that trade would have been over 10%, 11.5%. So that's 17.5% in one night with 1% risk. I think that's pretty decent. So yes, you could have had a way more if you stayed in that trade and you see it stays red, but then because we had such a huge move down, this indicator gets out of whack, the bottom one, and then you can see that you would have gotten out here, so it's still more than here. But like I said, I'm just going to the other side of the band, call it a day. That was a 1 to 3, that was a 1 to 20. I'm okay with that. I don't need more than that. And that's it. That's basically the strategy. So London session, we wait until the Asia session high or low gets rated, and if that coincides with a touch of the band on the 15 minute, this is a 1 minute chart, and we get an entry signal which coincides of yellow arrow and green arrow, and then confirmation here, then we take the trade. That's it. Profit, stop loss right underneath, and that's it. Here's a 1 2 3, comes back, stops us out for break even. We get a new entry on this candle, we go back in, stop loss underneath here. We hit 1 2 3 roughly around here somewhere. Great. Stop loss to break even. In this case, price never comes back. Plays around for a little bit. You're not getting nervous because the bottom indicator tell you hey, we're good, we're green, nothing to worry about. And then after a little while it starts moving further up and hits profit target right here. And that's where you call it a day. That would have been 3 and that would have been a 6% night just on the S&P 500 pair. And then if you do the New York session, or if you do both, you wait until 8 a.m. That's when the red box stops printing. And then we do the same thing with the London session. We wait until price rates a high or low. In this case, it rates the high of the London session and it goes up. So as soon as that happens, we look on the bottom indicator here and we see green, 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 green. We wait for the first white bar here, which probably came in around here because this indicator repaints a little bit. And as soon as we get the first red bar, we pay attention, and then we already have the yellow arrow in place. And then on this bar we get the red arrow. So that, and then we look down. We are red here, we are white, white here in this case. So we take the trade. This candle is entry, stop loss right above. 3 to 1 is right here after a few minutes. Set the stop loss to break even. Price tries to come back but never comes back to the break even. And then it moves down and moves down. And again, as long as this stays red, you have nothing to worry about. So you just patiently wait. And then it starts moving down. And then finally, boom, we hit the other side of the band. That's your profit target for the second half. And that's it. Let's go one day back. I hope this is... Why do I not have the boxes here? Hold on a second. Oh yeah, and this gray box here is basically the silver bullet hour in the New York session from 10 to 11. So if you trade the silver bullet, you can use the same template. Oh, let me go back. I don't know why I don't have the boxes here. This should show up. Sorry for the... Okay, here are the boxes. So why don't they show up on the 1 minute? Okay, now they do. Anyway, this is the previous day from the one that we just had. Again, we have our Asian box in blue. You have the bottom and top of our TMA band. And here's where the session starts. And you can see we are rating the low of the Asia session here. So we go below the Asia session low. And at the same time we touch the band. So that's great. Now let me zoom in a little bit, just so you know where we are. So again, we're rating the low of the Asia session and we're hitting the band at the same time. So that's a valid trade for me. Now I just have to wait. In this case I can, because the indicators don't paint back that far because it's 1 minute. But anyway, we got our first buy signal here, but I can guarantee you that the bottom indicator at this time was still red. And then it moved up a little bit, came back a little bit. Now the indicator is at least in the white. So, but we had a red sell area and a yellow sell area. So right around here is when the bottom indicator turns white. So we wait, and then we get a green arrow here and we get a yellow arrow here on this candle, and we have support dots. Now we have to look down. This doesn't confirm it yet. This one here, and actually it starts get the confirmation on this candle here because it always prints 2 back. I don't know why, but in this case we get the last confirmation that we need from the Renko Street trend here on this candle. Everything else is in place, so you take the trade here, stop loss underneath here, and then again 1, 2, 3 is target for the first half, which we easily get here. Then we get stopped out for the second half, which is fine. We still have a green arrow, that's the last one. So in this case we only have a yellow arrow going against us, so we have to wait for this one, which came in on this candle here. So I know it looks like it's this candle, but it probably came in on this candle. And on this candle is also when Renko Street trend turns green. Again, this always prints 2 green bars usually at the same time. So on this candle, this was still red, probably. You see that in the live sessions. So it probably turned green on this candle here, so we enter again. Stop loss right underneath this candle here. And then off we go. 3.1, so right around here we hit 1, 2, 3. So first half gets closed out at 1 to 3 risk reward. Stop loss again to break even, and this time it goes up. And you could have followed this probably up all the way until here, or possibly here. And let's see. So we get a 1, 2, 3 on 0.5%, so that's 1.5%. Then we get another 1, 2, 3 on 0.5%. So that's 3%. And then the last one, let me see what that was. Show lines. This position size calculator is in the package too, by the way. And I'll show you exactly how to use it on the first live session, which is the London session tonight. For me tonight, for some it's the next day. Okay, again we had our entry on this candle here, right there. So this was our 1, 2, 3 for the first half, and then the second half, if we just go by touch of the TMA band, it was probably around here somewhere. Maybe even here, because that band shifts up, it repaints. It could have even been here. Let's set it here to be fair. And there was another 1 to almost 7. So we had 3% from the 2 half trades, and then another 1 to, let's say 1 to 7 on 0.5%. So that's another 3.5%. So that day you would have made 6.5% on your account. Yeah, sorry, I just didn't pay attention to the chat. Yes, we excuse me, hold on a second. And yes, we trade on the 1 minute chart only. That's it. I'm not a very patient person. I want to get in and out as soon as I can. I think I mentioned that before. And this works perfectly well on the 1 minute chart. It's unfortunate that you can't see the bottom indicators here, but if we go back to Friday, does it work here? Oh, we actually can do this one here. So this was the New York session, and we can see that price starts rating the top of London session, so that's the first thing we wait for. And in this case, actually, so the Asia session as well. So it rates both highs from. Let me go smaller so you can see that. So this is the Asia session high, and this is the London session high, and then we can see in New York we actually go above both of them. This is London high, this is Asia high, and we sweep both of them right here. And even if you just look for the London sweep, it happens on this candle here. So we are already probably starting to get white on this one right around here somewhere. And then we get the red arrow here. We had that before already. Then price sweeps the Asia high as well, and then we get the yellow arrow, which is the second one that we're waiting for. And on this candle we have to check. This might have not been red at this point because again it's always 2 bars at the same time, but then on the next candle we get the confirmation here, so we enter on this candle. Let's do this again. Where are my lines? Oh, there's my entry line. Stop loss, and take profit is 1, 2, 3. So again, we enter on this candle. Stop loss right above the dots, just like that. Take profit is 1, 2, 3, so that's hit here. That's the first half, and then we set our stop loss to break even. And in this case, this might have actually hit the band, because again, this repaints and price later on moved down. So this band might have shifted down because of that, but I firmly believe that we actually hit the band somewhere around here. So you would have closed the second half right around here. Because this band repaints, and like I said, price moved down a lot later on, so it probably shifted down a little bit. And at this time, it was probably right around here. So we hit the second half right here and we closed, and that's it. So that would have been another successful day. And the whole thing, like I said, from when you start the session, you can set an alarm on both ends. And when price hits either the low or the high, you get your alert. You run back to the chart so you don't have to sit here. And then finally it rates it here. So you get an alert, you jump on the chart, you still have a few minutes. And then you got your red arrow here, you get your white arrow, yellow arrow here, you got your support dots, everything's good. And then you wait on confirmation down here, which came in on this candle. And that's your entry point. And then stop loss above. And off you go. Take profit from one of the two trades out, because it's set to 1, 2, 3 by default. So you remove the take profit from one of the two trades, and then first one hits 1, 2, 3. At that point you set your stop loss to break even, and then probably right around here you hit the band and you close the second half, and that's it, and you're done. So the whole thing took from entry point, or let's say from alert time, it's right here, to let's say this candle here, 41 minutes, and you're done. And you just made 1.5, and then let's say the second is down, let's say on this candle here, that's another 1 to 5, so 2.5 and 1.5, so that's another 4% on a day. Would you be sending the yes, I will repackage, or actually I'm just gonna post the template itself, because you have the indicators, they haven't changed. So I'm gonna the adjusted template, I'm gonna post it in the chat, in Telegram chat, so you can have that, and then you can follow along. And like I said, I'm definitely gonna do the London session every day, so at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's probably morning in the UK, I think, right? It's like 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So that's where I start looking at the charts, and literally the only thing I do is I set an alert at the top of the Asia box and at the bottom of the Asia box, and that's it. And then I wait. And then finally the alert would go off right here. So now I'm paying attention. The price comes further down. We get the confirmation either on this candle or on this candle. We have the green one here. So this might have been valid. If not, this definitely was valid. And confirmation here, you enter and off you go. 1, 2, 3, and hit the band probably right around here. And that's it. And then we actually get a second entry here. Still in the London session, yeah. There's another one right here, yellow and green. Like I said, unfortunately the two bottom indicators don't go back that far, but we had another entry right here. We could have taken this one as well, still within the London session. And then another 1 to 3 and another hitting the band right here. So even if this didn't touch the band, which I think it did, but even if it didn't, you would have had a half trade for sure, 1, 2, 3 here on 0.5%, and that would have stopped you out, and then you could have taken another trade here, and that was a success. So that would be another 1.5, 3%, and then probably another 3-4% here. That would be another 6-7% day. And it's very simple. Like I said, it's very simple rules. Asia box is the blue one. You set an alert here and an alert up here, and then you just wait. That's it. And here we get the alert, and we pay attention. Here we get the green arrow, then the yellow arrow. We confirm here. We wait until this confirms, which would be on this candle. We check with the bottom indicators, which again we can't do here right now. But even if that wasn't it, then we get another yellow arrow here. And at this point it was definitely confirmed, so you would take the trade here. Stop loss right underneath, and then off you go. Another successful trade. And even if you only do one session a day, like I said, if you can just make 3% a day on the account, that's really damn good. I don't necessarily use the water avatar, but I have it on there just to be, when let's say, hold on, let me go, because there was a situation before. Okay, so here, this is a good example. This is if you look at the rest of the candles, this is a very tight stop loss here when we had this entry. So I like to look, if it's that close, I like to look at the water avatar as well. And you can see on that candle we were selling off for a while, even breached the yellow band, which water avatar says needs to be given that we get a bar above the yellow line, which is the average line. And in this case we get this on this candle, so that's a nice additional confirmation. I don't use it necessarily, but it makes me feel better to see that the volume is in my favor as well. You can include that with your you can do whatever you want. If you want to include that in your rules, you can. I don't, but it's nice to have and see it here. Technically, for the way I trade it, it's not necessary, but I like to see the volume on it as well when I take a trade. So in this case, that will make me feel better to take when I have such a tight stop loss and price was just wiggling around here for a while. It would make me a little bit weary to enter trade right here with a stop loss right here, because I'm thinking, okay, maybe they build up liquidity here and they're gonna take it again, which they still can, you never know. But in this case, like I said, if I see the water avatar actually really nice spiking up in the volume, sell volume way above the average at the same time, it would just make me feel better. It's just a feel good indicator for me, if that makes sense. So it's just you don't have to have it on there. If you can remove it if you want to. I just like to have it on there so I see what's going on with the volume as well. So that's a nice additional confirmation for me that I don't necessarily use to enter, but it's nice to have and nice to see, when you enter the trade here and then you see that the volume is already selling here for a while and was already spiking over the average line, then this is makes me feel better to enter that close, because this is a very close entry. It's not even, that's 9.4 points. It's not much. And we're going for almost 200 points down, so that was the 1 to 20. Yeah. So again, if it's up to you, you can incorporate that and say, okay, once I have my signal candle, I want to see for a sell a red bar above the average as well, and if not, I wait. You can do that. That it's an extra safety. I don't incorporate it, but it's I like to see that, especially if it's that close. And if it's that close, I might even wait a bar, even if I get a valid signal. If this bar is not above the average, like it was a candle before, like here. Let's say the signal came in here and it's really close up there and it was poking around there for a while. I might just wait one candle and see if the next candle gives me the volume that I want to see, and which in this case would have been this candle anyway. But you see what I'm saying? Like it's a, for me it's a nice to have indicator on the chart, Sometimes I use it if I'm not sure about a trade, and if I get this on the entry candle, I might wait a candle, but it's not necessary for the strategy. But it's a nice to see, and you can incorporate it in your strategy. You're welcome to. Or you can just remove it if you don't want to have it on there. You just follow the other indicators. That's fine as well. That's completely up to you. Yeah, and then we also have an indicator on there. It's called the fair value gap. If you watch videos about ICT and the silver bullet or the Judas swing, you're probably familiar with the fair value gap. If not, like I said, I would recommend watching any of the 1,000 videos that are out there about the Judas swing or the silver bullet. This shows you the fair value gaps automatically in MT4. So if you use those for entry, you can. So I admitted I added them to the template, and that's for cases when this is actually a good example here. You can see here this was actually a valid entry here, but this top indicator, because we had such a huge move up, this bottom indicator did not switch to white in time, so it probably switched over around here. So now we know that this would have been a valid entry and it just didn't catch up in time. Now we can look for a fair value gap here, if there is one. Let me see. There was, I guess this is a gap here. I don't know. But this indicator shows you all the fair value gaps, and then you can just enter one of them on the extreme and then can use that for entry. Here was not a gap. Was there a gap? I don't know. This. Here was one for sure, so you could have used this for entry. So you set your entry here and then stop loss above the high, and you would have at least gotten a 1 to 3 out of it. That's basically for cases when you miss the entry because this bottom indicator doesn't catch up in time. Which again, if you have a very strong move up or down, this one doesn't catch up in time. Same before when we had that huge move down. Yeah, here. You can see when we had this huge move down, we actually had an entry here. Yellow, green, this one agrees, this one agrees. This one doesn't. Why? Because of that strong move, and it needs time to catch up. So in this case, you can use the fair value gap as a second entry, which in this case, we actually had one here. There was a little bit left here of a fair value gap. So you could have set a pending order here and stop loss underneath here. And you can see that we get filled here, and then it takes off. So this would have been a second chance entry basically. That's why I have the fair value gap on there. Now I would recommend, like I said, if you are not familiar with ICT concepts, the Judas swing and the silver bullet strategy, go watch some of the hundreds and hundreds of videos that are available on YouTube to learn more about it, because I'm not going to go into detail about this. And again, this is a loose adaptation of that concept with my own twist on it, basically, like I said in the chat. So really, I have no daily bias. I don't use daily bias. I just set an alert above the Asia and below the Asia when we start trading, and as soon as I get an alert, I'm looking for a reversal. And for a reversal, I need to see a touch of the band, which I see here, or at least close to the bottom, because again, this repaints. So in this case, we do get that, or it's close to the bottom. That's perfectly fine. Then we need a yellow arrow, we need a green arrow, we need support dots, which we have here. And then when we have all three in place, we look down. This is green, green, white, perfect. In this case, water tar agrees too. See that? And you take your trade. Stop loss right underneath the low, and that's it. And then you let it go. 1 to 3 is hit right here. Within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, you hit your 1 to 3. Now you set your stop loss to break even. Price comes back, stops you out. That's fine. So we wait for the next green arrow, which is here. confirmation of the yellow arrow, which comes in here, and then we wait until those three agree, which happens on this candle here, this strong candle. You take your entry here, and yes, I know this is a fair value gap, and yes, price comes lower and taps into it, that's fine. Again, you can use either entry method.